What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the NerdCastle for the next episode of Sorcery Part 1 and 2. My name is Splattercat, stoked to have you here today as we hang out for a little while. We've made really good progress. I'm not afraid to say this is the furthest that I have ever made it in the game. Like, normally I don't use the rerolls, though. When I play, I just die and then I'll restart over and I'll try to remember from metagame what I should be doing. Still, we did a really good job. In the previous episode, I rerolled a fight with a rat bear because I felt like we performed really poorly. And it probably would have turned out okay because over here we would have ended up with 8 health rather than what we had, but there was no way for me to know that worse things ahead were not going to happen, so I figured you get a free reroll, you might as well take it. Let's leave Dumpus. You rise early, dismiss the attentions of the householder, and head out into the street. Within a few moments of walking, you're out of Dumpus and back on the road. After another hour or so, the way branches with one path going up into the hills, and the other turning downhill and along one side of a barren stony ridge. Is that a village you make out on top of the hill? Seems kind of a lonely place for it. You know what? Good things have happened when I've gone into town from now on, so we're going into town. The gentle upward slope becomes a steep climb and you're forced to rest several times. So far, you've been walking through the foothills. Now the journey has become more serious. When finally you reach the summit and could look out over the low plateau that you've crested, you see a path runs through a small settlement of crudely fashioned huts. There are villagers in the street talking and working. It seems like a happy and bustling place, really, because those faces don't look too happy or bustling. Both of those look a little bit gnarly to me. Everybody, he's missing a leg. His leg is off. This guy is hiding inside of a house. This guy's crawling back indoors, and this guy is running away. I don't know about this. They've lynched a crow right there for some reason. No idea why. Apparently that crow got caught doing something. But shit. They hung him up from the top of the house, and it looks like the top of the house is made out of a rat tail. I don't like this place. I don't trust it. Let's watch. You stay at your vantage point a while longer to see if things change. After a while, you begin to notice something strange about the way the people in the village are moving. First, you notice one is limping, then another. Then you realize they're all shuffling as they move and that some use sticks. One is even crawling. You stay hidden and watch for longer. After a while, you realize that whatever's happening in the village, it is desperate. There's no laughter, no joy, no trade, commerce. The women do not walk about and the men do not watch them. It's like a prison camp. Yeah, let's stay away. You've seen enough. Taking to the low scrub, you walk a quarter circle around the village to the far ridge. Keep going. The path turns down to a deep scree slope and into some trees. That's fine. That place did not look like it was going to have any positive outcome for us. The picture gave it away. It's difficult to see the way ahead through the tree line, but you trust to the course, and eventually the path bursts out onto a narrow stone ledge high above the valley floor. The ledge leads left, and the ledge leads right. There is no way forwards. Let's look left. Looking left, you can see that the narrow ledge is formed by the splitting of a rock that leads all the way down to the misty valley floor. If there's a path up the other side, it's not clear from here. Looking right, you're taken aback, as out of the mist that fills the valley, an impossibly wide bridge looms into view as if it had now only fallen into place. It's made of planks and thick ropes and is suspended from its peak to peak on the other side. Who could have built such a marvel, and how long ago? Let's rest a minute and eat. Perching on the edge of the outcrop, you eat a ration of your food and feel a little better for it. Well, you take a moment more to stare at the bridge. It forms a delicate curve across the valley, swaying very slightly in the wandering wind. But the more you look, the more it seems too perfect. Could such a bridge possibly exist, or is it a mere illusion to trick the incautious traveler? It's time to move on. Getting to your feet once more, you take a moment to find your balance before moving along. One slip here and you'll fall a long way down. I don't trust the bridge. We can't cast anything right now. It's been a while since our last prayer, but I don't know if it's been long enough. One looks like it's going to take me... Oops, that was an accident. I didn't mean to do that. I was moving the camera around. The bridge seems untrustworthy. Should anything happen to you while you were halfway across it, there'd be no escape, but the last most final kind. It's better to walk. You make your way along the stone edge. The angle is steep, and it's going to be hard not to stumble. At the valley floor is a dried-up river covered in worn stones honed by water that is now long gone. Small caves open up in the rock face nearby with rusted machinery abandoned inside. Or abandoned outside. There was mining here once, but it must have been a long time ago. A wider track made for carts carrying ore leads up the far slope. Let's look around for a second. You pause for a moment to recover your breath and look around. You walk for a while between the ancient machines that list out of the mud beside the riverbed. Gigantic hoppers, now brown with rust, with huge spiked wheels in their sides and chutes leading between them, now thick with bindweed, slugs, and mud. Whatever these machines were for, they haven't worked in decades, maybe even centuries. Okay, look at the riverbed, but it's nothing but a carpet of stones. That's called armoring. It happens naturally. It's part of my hydrology and my geology classes. You know how streams have stones along the bottom and sometimes it's so thick that there's no mud in between the stones? It's called armoring. It happens. That's also what it's called when your balls shrink up because it's cold. I think that's called armoring anyways. I don't know. Don't Google it. I don't want to be responsible for whatever happens to you when you Google that. Still, it happens by the way the stones are sorted. Let's see here. You look down at the riverbed. Nothing but a carpet of stones. I think you choose 3 nice round pebbles and store them in your backpack. Heavy to carry, but useful. Those are for our explosive spell, which I think we may get some use out of later. You approach the mine entrance. A wet wind greets you from the depths. The mine shaft must lead somewhere. In my head, for whatever reason, it sounded like a fart to me. The wet wind was just like coming up out of the mine and it just made me laugh. I don't know. But it's pitch dark. There are no torches and you do not have any light of your own. Do I have the things required for a light spell? If we're going to go in there. Oh, they got the search helicopter outside. Crazy. We've got hot. We've got sap, foff, wall, dumb, law, big, walk. That one's the shield spell. Never mind. I'm looking for something that will increase the brightness. There's somebody in my neighborhood right now, like, clipping people with a baseball bat. They've gotten, like, 3 people in the last 2 days. And so the police are out in force right now. So we've had a search helicopter out, like, every single day. I'm assuming he must have got somebody else then if the helicopter's out. It was out yesterday right about the time they reported on it on the radio, so I'm assuming he's gotten people within like 2 blocks of my house, and so really people in the neighborhood kind of worried right now. Nothing's gonna happen. Part of me is just like, oh, try that shit with me, son. Try that shit. Oh, we need a sun jewel. We don't have it, so I'm not gonna go inside. It seems like a risk. Let's climb the valley. If we had the sun jewel, I think that's probably what we could have bought in the first in Cantapani. We could have bought the sun jewel, and then we could have checked that place out. But with a little light source, that seems like a really, really bad plan. Your breath is short and your heart is hammering as you pause halfway up the valley slope. A small wooden hut is opposite, set a little way back from the path. Let's look at it. You stop to watch the hut dropping behind a bush and out of sight as you do. After a few minutes, you see a troll emerge, ducking to get through the tiny frame of the building. He's clearly guarding something there, perhaps a mine, or perhaps he was stationed here long ago to guard a city that's now crumbled to ruin. Let's wait and see what he does. The creature stands outside the hut for a few minutes, looking this way and that, his colossal head turning with the speed and dexterity of a mill wheel. Then he stomps away around the curve of the hill. You probably have a few minutes before he reappears. You want to fight a troll? We could fight a troll. I bet we could take him. It's a bad plan, but when were good adventures ever made about good plans? Let's go inside the hut. You seize the opportunity to race over to the hut and see what you can pilfer. Inside, you find it is a barren shack. There's a low oak table in the center with no windows, no door, and a pile of blankets in the corner is the only nicety. Look at them. The blankets in the corner of the room have seen better days. They were fine cloth once, but they've been worn to threads over many years and have clearly never been washed. Flies lay eggs in the gaps in the weave. The creature will be back at any moment. You should go. You've been here long enough. Quickly, you turn and hurry away, just in time to see the troll returning from the patrol around the edge of the hill. It hasn't seen you and is too stupid to notice anything you might have moved or left out of place. It moves to enter its hut. Let's slip away. There's gotta be, if there's a troll guarding it though, trolls always have good shit. They're like dragons. You know, if you find one, you gotta kill it and take its stuff. We do have magic to assist us. We could throw an explosive rock at him. We could make ourselves big and fight him on his level. He's dumb. It said he was stupid, so we could probably use one of the spells to give him commands. Let's do it. Bad ideas, go! You move towards the troll. This time, you are not afraid to let it see you, and as it does, it raises its enormous sword above its head and starts roaring. Trolls are dim-witted creatures and cannot be reasoned with, despite any stories you may have heard. Well, he's about to get a whole lot dumber. We've got a D, we've got a U, and we've got an M. It clauses clumsiness. It's a little bit expensive. I don't know if I want to do 3 stamina. We can only do D, U. We've got W, A, and L, which would make a magic wall. We've also got walk, I think, which creates a shield. That's all the W options that we have. We've got pop, which causes an explosion. And then we've got dumb, and that's pretty much it. Wonder if the explosion will help. It's the cheapest thing that we have. Clumsiness would work, but let's go with pop. Let's see what explosion we can get in here. I'm a fan of blowing shit up. You cast your spell and then fling it at the troll. It explodes in a shower of sparks, knocking the creature to the floor. Throw another! You toss another pebble, which explodes as it reaches him. When the smoke is cleared, there is no troll any longer. I'm glad we picked up those rocks then. Let's search the hut. With the troll dead, you quickly complete your search of the hut and find 3 gold pieces hid inside the pile of blankets. Then you slip out and continue on your way. Huzzah! Adventure accomplished. We're like a lady Beowulf. A lady wolf. Or a Bear lady. I like that one better. Keep on walking. Another hour passes as you finish your climb. With the sun starting to hang heavy in the sky, you reach the top and meet with the other end of the rope bridge. Let's look at it. It may look stable, but it's undoubtedly a death trap set to part travelers from their gold and from their lives. You continue on down the slope as evening draws in. I mean, honestly, if you use common sense in this game, you should be alright most of the time. Like, as long as you don't act super brazen, you don't flex at anybody. So far, most of the times I've died, it's either because I failed to recognize a sign, or because I waited to see what happened in a situation where things were escalating, and I was just kind of like, let's see how it escalates. You really kind of want to be decisive in this game, and if you want to be decisive, you also want to be evasive at the same time. And in so doing, you also want to keep a stock of what magic spells you have in your head, because for realsies, taking people out, I think we have like 6 pebbles right now. So we used 2. That means we have 4 left for more pop spells. Some way down the hill, you stop for a rest and sit on a boulder to survey what lies ahead. The path that leads downwards, and at its foot, cradled between 3 peaks, is a village, and a quite large one at that. Behind you, the sun is falling rapidly into the hills. It might be night soon. Let's approach. We've got money in our pocket, we've got food in our stomach, and we've got rations in the bag. The village looks like a good place to stop. You hop down from the boulder and make your way forward when an overhanging branch touches your face, and you hear a lively chirping. You quickly turn around. Hovering by your shoulder is a small creature the size of a bird. It is childlike but very thin with green skin, and it flits around you on transparent wings. It seems friendly enough. It even lands on your shoulder, its tiny clawed toes pinching slightly. Let's cast a spell. I don't know what this thing's up to, but we might be able to read its intent. So we've got H and nothing to go with H. We've got W and nothing to go, well, we got wall, but that's a little expensive. We've got walk to summon a shield. We've got J spells. We can cause fear. I think that's pretty much what we've got. And cause depression. I'm not sure what I want to do right now. Can't do anything with the H. Make copies of ourselves. I didn't notice there was an I in there. Something bad's gonna happen. I've got a feeling. I don't know if I want to depress the creature. I mean, honestly, it might take our hostilities as a bad sign. I don't really know what to say right now. A shield would probably help, but that costs a lot of stamina. I'm sorry, a wall. We can't cast force field right now, but we can make a wall in between us and the enemy. Try and talk, maybe? I don't know, I'm hoping it's not like a tooth fairy or something like from from Hellboy, where it's gonna look all cute and then the second you get used to it, it's gonna be like, ah! Like thousands of them are gonna come at you. I bet that's what's gonna happen. Greetings, little creature, and hello to you, the creature replies, chirping. My name is Jan. What do you want with me? See that village, the creature replies? The last time I go through, they told me I wasn't welcome, so I wouldn't mind some protection. Where I'm going is dangerous. You warn the creature you might be killed traveling with me. The creature shrugs. I've got small wings, can't get far on my own. The creature starts hopping up and down. Come on, it grumbles impatiently. Let's get going, can't we? What are you? The creature does a backflip and gives a low bow. I'm a Minimite. Pleased to meet you. It reaches out its tiny hand and shakes your earlobe. What can you tell me about those people? You point down in the valley. Is it safe? That's Biratanti, and it's very safe. It's the largest village in the whole of the Shamutanti Hills. Every traveler who comes this way spends at least one night there, so it's a little bit expensive, especially for Minimites, but pleasant enough. The creature flits to your other shoulder once more. You're not in a hurry, are you? It observes. Do you want to sleep out in the rough? Alright, I'll protect you. He seems cool. He probably robbed him, though, or something. The creature squeezes your shoulder gently. It's like it's like having a spider trying to burrow into your skin. Let's get going, then. The creature shakes you by the ear in excitement, and you set off along the path once more. You descend into the bowl of the valley. The hills on either side are toweringly tall and throw the village into a deep shadow. It would seem a very gloomy and threatening place, but from the streets come the distant sound of laughter and merriment. You continue along the path, and the sounds of festivities grow louder. It's almost spooky here in the shade of the valley, and after so long on the dire road, the people in the village seem to be enjoying themselves. See, said the Minimite on your shoulder, I told you it was a happy place. Jan, what's going on? Are they bewitched? Jan shakes his head. No, if there was magic, believe me, I'd know. This is the festival of the young. What's that? Well, take a look. Jan waves a little hand around the village. The idea is that once a year, the children are allowed the freedom of the village. It's a time of great fun and lots of pranks. It becomes quickly obvious what he means. You pass the first few buildings where you find a number of children sitting in the street and drinking ale from deep mugs. Further on, a young boy is holding an old woman over his knee and is spanking her. On the other side of the street, a group of boys is fighting outside a hut with a sign that reads, Glandragger's Tavern. It's all complete mayhem. I mean, if it's their festival, I don't want to disrespect their customs, especially since I'm kind of outnumbered. You consider helping her, but there's nothing you can do. It is their festival after all. Exactly. Who am I to come in and tell them they can't do what they're going to do? We can enter the tavern, or we can go further into town. Let's go in town. Whatever. Bad things are probably going to happen, but behind the bar, a thick-set man is wiping mugs down with an old rag. Greetings, stranger, he calls. I'm Glandragger. How can I help you? How much is ale? You might be right thirsty to be so upfront, he remarks. 2 gold pieces. It's the finest in town. Well, I mean, it's the only ale in town. I make sure of that. Alright. You put 2 gold pieces down on the countertop, and Glandragger pulls you a mug of beer. It's warm, frothy, and deeply refreshing. He smiles. You look like you've been on the road a while. You have no idea, you reply. Glandragger nods. Tell me about yourself. Me? Why? He spreads his hand. I'm a normal enough fellow. What you see is what you get with me. That's what I always say. Tell me about the village. He shrugs. There's not much to say. Once again, what you see is what you get. This place keeps going because it's on the only route between Carré and Cantapani. If one of those mountain falls or the river freezes over, then this place will be a desert in 2 weeks. I'm headed for Carré myself. Of course you are. Didn't I just tell you that? I'll be glad to be out of the hills. Well, my friend, he laughs. If you found the hills to be a challenge, then Carré may well be the death of you. Now there's a city of thieves if there ever was one. Well, I have my magic. Then you'd better lose that thing, he replies, flicking Jan with a finger. The tiny creature rolls over uneasily. He seems to be ill. Glendragor goes back to wiping down his bar, then a thought occurs to him. You'll be passing through Torapani, I suppose. The Svins in Torapani are normally a merry lot, but they're pretty depressed at the moment. There's a real gloom about the place. What's the matter with him? Ah, well, he thinks for a moment, then he waves away whatever was on the tip of his tongue. I'm sure it's nothing to concern you. From the counter, Jan issues a loud burp. He's been sipping ale from puddles on the bar top and is now quite drunk. I promised. I gave my word I'd keep an eye on him, and I am an honorable person, so you poke the little creature who clambers boozily up on your finger, but then topples off and onto the floor. Leave him there if you like, Glandragor says. I'll pick him up and put him in a mug. And you don't quite manage it. At the last moment, Jan rouses himself and flies wobblingly back to your shoulder. I love you, he whispers in your ear. Well, the tavern turned out okay. We're looking pretty stout at the moment as far as our stats and our provisions go. Further into the town, you head out of the tavern and turn a corner to find a group of girls standing by a signpost pointing to the crystal waterfall. They're tripping up their elders as they pass and giggling. You stop by the group and ask them about the waterfall, but they're too distracted by Jan, whom they delight in poking, tickling, and generally cooing over. After a few minutes of asking them about the waterfall, you give up and walk away. One of the girls says, "Come back!" Another shouts, "The water is good for you!" Jan sighs, already missing the attention, but comes back to rest on your shoulder. You leave the girls to their snickering. I don't think I want to go to the waterfall. Since it's a day of trickery and pranks, I bet the water does something shitty that I'm going to have to work on and fix. Let's go to the inn. You find the village inn buried under a rocky overhang. The proprietor stands in the doorway, a formidable young girl armed with a baker's paddle. "What do you want?" she squeaks at you. "Room and board." 9 gold pieces, she answers stubbornly. "How much for a room, then?" 5. "Plenty of travelers in Britanti. We only want the best." "All right." You pay the girl 5 gold pieces and she directs you up a winding set of stairs to a room inside the rafters of the house. From here you have the perfect view over the madness in the streets outside. Children are running riot with blazing torches, waving them in the faces of adults they pass. A few men have their legs and arms tied around fence posts. If this wasn't a festival, it would be a revolution. I'm going to sit up on guard for a bit. With your sword across your knees, you sit up for a few hours, listening to the chaos outside, waiting to see if anybody will attempt to raid the room. But nothing happens other than your eyelids drifting closed. Jan curls up on a corner of the mattress and goes to sleep. The noise from the streets begins to subside as darkness spreads across the village. Your dreams are filled with walking, with peaks and valleys and endless paths. A curious light plays across them, building walls to heights before ruining them as it moves away. The rest of the night passes silently. Okay, that's it for us. We're out of time for the day. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the NerdCastle for the next episode of Sorcery. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.